One. Hello.
What's up, Twitch? It's your boy, The Equation.
We're here with Words of
Sorry.
Radiance, chapters 22 to 51. But yeah, it's been a while, and I actually don't really remember what happened in the first part of the section. But yeah, that's all I have
Like
notes.
the first part of before this section or this section?
Like this first couple chapters of like 22 to like 30, let's say.
Yeah. I read the first half of this section like a month ago.
Yeah.
So I don't remember that at all, but the second half.
What happened?
Basically,
Oh yeah,
Shalon is a scammer.
yeah.
Yeah,
She
she's
conning
getting
people.
powers. I like her
Yeah.
development so far.
And my boy Bluth, R.I.P.
Yeah. Oh my God. Wait. Yeah. I had that somewhere in my notes. I'm like, man, that was Lewis's bias in Ridge 4.
I don't know. He was a Bridge 4. Bluth was Tiklov's. I can never remember how he spells his name.
The guy
It
that she drew. Yeah. Might be.
yeah
Yeah.
There's like two V's.
Black.
yeah to Vlokov.
We love what is it? Symmetrical names or whatever the hell.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it is. Is it symmetrical?
Not really, but they try. I mean, none of their names are like truly symmetrical, but it's like
There's a
somewhat.
symmetry to it or
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
At least with the vowels. All right. Well, 22. So I don't yeah, these 22 and 23 I don't have many notes, but anyway. They keep mentioning other names of Knights Radiant like orders, so still mentions Skybreakers as another order. I just kind of putting their names down, but we don't know too much about most of the orders. And there's like 10, how I don't remember how many they said. There's a lot of different ones.
But in this chapter is also when Cal tells Dalinar, oh my god, I almost forgot his name. Dalinar about Amaram. For the first time.
And then he's just like, eh.
He's like, and he's like, it's not that I don't believe you, but you know, an accusation this serious needs proof. Which makes sense. From Dalinar's position, like he's known Amaram as like for a very long time. It would be kind of crazy for that to be true.
Yeah. And plus he doesn't have proof because like he literally slaughtered all the witnesses.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's Kaladin's in a tough spot.
I mean, you know, if Cal just got to challenge Amaram to a duel and then beat the brakes off him.
Yeah, I would like to see that, you know. I hope that happens. Yeah, he and Sadius needs their fucking comeuppance. But chapter 23. Oh yeah.
Oh wait. There's one more thing in this that made me real sad. I remember. I just read my notes. When Shen was talking to Kaladin, and Shen was like, out of nowhere, "Am I a slave or am I a bridgeman in Bridge 4?" And like Shen looked sad to Cal, and it's the first time he's seen emotion. I was like, bro, why is he baby boy right now?
Aw. He's giving the puppy dog eyes.
My little guy.
Shen is actually my favorite member of Bridge 4.
Yeah, he's just like always in the background, but always there, and just non-verbal most of the time.
You know,
Rip. Same.
I feel that. Me
We
and
all,
Shen.
we all shit.
Okay, yeah, that was the only other thing I had for 22.
All right. Yeah, so this next chapter kicks off another, I guess, plot point. So it's another assassination attempt on Elokar, and this time it was a shard blade cut to the railing. And Elokar actually almost died, but he hung onto the cliffs somehow magically. His plot armor still is intact, I guess. And now everyone's like up in a hubbub, because they're like, oh my god, who is it? How do they do it? And then I think I'm getting ahead of myself, but they basically can tell that there's definitely an inside job here because there's no way that anyone could get to the railing of the palace like that if you didn't have access to the palace already. So everyone's very suspicious of each other at this point, and Elokar is now even more anxious about the attempts on his life.
Yeah, the only way someone could have done it is if they had surge binding, but also if you had surge binding, why would you do it in such a roundabout way?
Yeah, just to cut the railing, like, you would just kill him,
Yeah, you
like,
would probably
outright.
just kill him outright if you could climb up a wall.
Yeah, but
My
yeah,
original thought for that was that, I mean, we know because we've read further on that this is not the case, but I was like,
Yeah.
oh, weren't they like in the last book, Thaddeus was like, oh, like Elokar like faked that assassination attempt on himself
Oh, yeah,
so
yeah,
that
yeah.
you'll
yeah.
like take his shit seriously. I was like, maybe he's doing that again because it was so like bad, like not a
Minded.
good
Poorly
assassination
planned.
attempt.
But I mean, he was like holding on to the railing for dear life. Like, I don't know if he would have faked that because he doesn't seem like someone to me with much like physical prowess to just be like hanging on indefinitely like that for someone to find him.
No.
I mean, he cut off, or he
Yeah,
did cut down his the saddle thing, and he
yeah.
could have easily
Well,
died
he's
because of that.
fighting a chasm fiend. He could have like
True.
actually died,
Yeah, he's just
but
he a little
anyway,
weird.
we know now that that is not the case. But when I read
Mhm.
that, I was like, "Hmm, he's just
Is,
being dramatic."
is Elokar playing games again?
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
it's like the
he's
boy who cried wolf.
a baby king.
Yeah, yeah.
And they mentioned it later that he does have like a young, like I guess, infant son, like back in the mainland. And I'm like, damn, he's just never seen his son in like who knows how long. Unless he goes back, but it doesn't seem like it.
I feel like in this world, that's pretty normal for some reason. I don't think there's
Yeah,
many good dads in this
but
world.
they're also like younger, right? Because what did we say? Jasna was like late 20s,
Yeah,
and
he's
Elokar
like he's in like his early to
24.
mid 20s, I think.
Yeah, something like that. But I don't know. This is fantasy world. Maybe everyone has babies early.
Yeah, I mean,
I
if it's
think
like
like
supposed to be somewhat medieval, that would make
I,
sense.
I think like he's in his mid-20s and Jasmine's in
Yeah.
her early 30s.
Oh yeah, Jazz is like early 30s or like 30 or something like that at this
Mm-mm.
point. Because I think she was in her late 20s in like some of the flashback stuff.
I don't really remember. I think there was at one point, yeah, Adeline said something about that because they're like, oh, they'll let Jasna remain unmarried and she's like X years older, and then he's just like they're forcing him to get married even though he's only what like early 20s, I think,
Mm.
Yeah,
something like that.
let me see. W- Elokar is 3 years older than Adolin.
Okay,
He's like
and I don't remember exactly how,
22
how
or
old.
23, I think.
Yeah, so he's in his late 20s.
Okay, all right, that's not bad. But for a king, he needs to grow up.
Yeah, well, we all, yeah. He's the, but he grows, I mean, not to spoil anything, but he grows on you.
I mean, I like
Okay,
Elgar. He's kind of
yeah, no, I can tell he'll have
he's
some
like he's a
development.
little dopey king. I like
You
him.
know, like he grows on you, but not because of his lameness. Like you don't like pity
Uh
him. You actually like
He'll be earnest and like we'll grow
he,
to like him
Not
for
because
his
he's
actual
sad
strength.
and pathetic,
yeah, exactly.
even though we
yeah,
do
okay.
like that.
I do find his pathetic nature kind of endearing.
Exactly. No, like right now it's because he's pathetic. They were like, oh baby. But no, eventually like he does become like, oh, okay. There
He becomes a grown man.
Wow.
yeah. Yeah.
All right, good to know. Good to know. Not all whining from him. Okay. Anything else about the assassination attempt?
That was the
Um,
only thing I had for
Okay,
that.
then we go back to Shallan, who meets Tin, Tyn, the
Yeah.
leader of the band. They're not bandits, whatever. Basically mercenaries, as far as
Yeah.
she knows. But we do have a moment where Gaz talks about how he sees the Alethi were greedy and that they weren't at war for the right reasons either. So, I mean, Gaz does have like a head on his shoulders, it seems like, which is good. You know, he's getting his redemption now too. They mentioned curry because I wrote,
Yeah.
curry.
Yeah, because Shao was like annoyed she wasn't allowed to eat the man food, which was curry.
Fellas, is it gay to
and,
not like
and
curry?
and I'm gonna be honest, if I had to eat like sweet for sweets for dinner and there was curry around, I'd also be annoyed.
Yeah, give me that curry. Alright, so there was a high storm that came while they were making camp, and Pattern was buzzing around during the high storm and ranting in some foreign language. Honestly, that would be terrifying if I woke up to that. It's like he's having his own, like, horrible nightmare, like Dalinar, kind of. And then Pattern says that the Voidbringers have their own type of spren. And then this quote from Pattern said, "Spren are power, shattered power. Power given thought by the perceptions of men. Honor, cultivation, and another, odium." Which, like, we've heard, like, odium a few times now. I think in the last book and this book. So
Yeah.
that's, like, I guess, spren of hate, I'm assuming.
You sound like
Yeah,
the
oh yeah,
big
Tin
bad.
is leader of the caravan guard, and she's becoming Shallan's mentor in the art of the Khan. Nice. Oh, okay, and then I have a note about ages. So in the next chapter, it goes back to Kaladin. Kaladin is now 20 years old, and then yeah, that makes sense. I guess Adelin's probably like 23, and then Elokar is like 3 years older, so like 26, 27.
My first note for this chapter just says Callan Friends Horse Girl Training Arc.
It's funny because I
Yeah,
wrote
I
Kaladin
love
is
the
not a
horse
horse
girl
boy.
training.
He doesn't like horses.
Ooh, in this chapter, my note is that Kaladin calls Adeline by name in this chapter instead of
Oh,
calling him like Bright Lord
right,
or
Lord.
whatever,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
like Prince. And just,
He's
for me, I'm like, ooh, they're enemies to
pals.
lovers is becoming
Oh yeah,
friends.
100%.
Are you shipping them now?
Yes, absolutely.
if only Brando Sandro wasn't a Mormon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's okay because
honestly.
I'll do all of the work for him.
But also, I don't know why I wrote this, but I just wrote Cal likes mommy Janet energy. I don't know what in reference to this, what this reference was to.
Oh, the horse.
I think he respects
Uh,
her as like
But she
the
like
horse
wears
trainer.
pants and stuff or something.
yeah, something like that.
And also threw rocks at Adeline because I guess like they were courting at one point and then he like fucked up royally as usual. Yeah, she's funny. I like her. And then I also wrote Dreamstorm goes hard for a horse's name. Like that's amazing. I want a horse
Hmm.
called Dreamstorm.
I
Alright,
think
yeah,
the
so
horses have pretty good names. The like Irishedium, anyways.
yeah. Yeah, actually, if I were to add an actual horse, I'd probably also give it some cool ass fantasy name. I'd go to namegenerator.com or whatever and give it a
Yeah.
cool name.
And then
Fantasy horses.
with the epitaph like King of the Winds
Yeah,
or
something like
Yeah.
that.
Queen of the Waves or something that really like inspires majesty.
If I was in
Yes.
this world, I'd be a little shit and name my horse Carl or something.
Carl the what? Like, what would his like
Carl,
subtitle be?
come over here,
Just
Carl.
it's just Carl the
Carl
horse.
the
So
horse.
the
Yeah.
title is the horse.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a false title. Okay, the next chapter of the preface, Listener Song of Wars, our gods were not who shattered these planes. I'm like, who shattered the planes then? Who? So we still have that open-ended question. Adeline also meets Ashonai for the first time. I think that was during a battle, if I remember correctly. And then
Yeah.
I don't remember what this note was in context about, but I wrote like question mark, does Renarin know more things now too? But I have no idea what more things reference to. Maybe like he knows something more than he lets on.
Mm,
I don't really remember, but after
I
reading
don't
the rest of the
remember.
section, I don't think it really made sense. But um, oh yeah, this is next chapter is Shallan flashback chapter. So Jushu, which is Shallan's fourth brother, said that their father killed their mother, but Shallan's involvement is still unclear. So I'm still like hypothesizing that to everyone else they believe their father killed their mother, which that's a pretty good hypothesis. But then like I am heavily leaning towards that Shallan did it unwittingly, basically, or like under the influence, let's say.
Bum bum
Bum bum bum.
bum.
So we will still get some hints. But then she saw her mother's soul in a glowing box, and I had a lot of questions about how that works. So That came up, like, again in another flashback chapter, I think, but it's like, I guess her mom's dead, but they put her soul in a box or something, I don't know.
Dick in a
Yeah.
box, but it's still
Yeah,
in a
it's a
box.
dick in a box. Soul in
I
a
was
box.
also I like wrote notes about that. I was like, is that like a metaphor or like is this a new thing that we haven't figured out yet?
Yeah. Was it, like, something maybe, like, a mother's prized possession or something, and it's glowing, and, like, to Shallan, it's, like, her mother's soul, or is it, like
Oh, my hypothesis was that it's her shard blade. Like they embedded it in the, because if you like embed it in something, it doesn't disappear in the safe because like she killed her mom and the shard blade takes his soul.
This is
That's
Shallan's sharp blade.
yeah, that was my guess.
and they put the shard blade, like, in there, is what you're saying? With the
Yeah.
soul? I
Well,
guess?
like the soul is in the shard blade because it
Yeah.
steals it or whatever.
Still confuses the glowing part is, like, does no one else see that it's glowing? Like, I feel like because like, Shallan is, like, hyper aware of it. I mean, obviously, because she has, like, somewhat of involvement in it. But, yeah, the glowingness is what's, like, throwing me
I
off.
mean,
It's like, how is it glowing?
it's like behind something, so only she can see it because she has like the powers.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying, I guess so, but it's like, like, what makes it glow? That like, to her
The
only.
light, the
The
stormlight.
light.
I mean, it seems it's like
I think just
special
because
Stormlight sense and
yeah,
powers. It's her Spidey sense.
or it's just like she's not, maybe not like literally seeing it glowing. It is maybe just like metaphorically, psychosomatically.
Mhm.
She sees it glow because of like guilt and trauma.
Yeah. Yeah, she definitely has, still a lot of buried trauma that we have not even seen yet, so,
She's very good at compartmentalizing.
yeah. We've seen her, like, almost crack. Not crack completely, but, like, sometimes it'll come up, and then you're just like, that was weird." But actually, there's a point later on in the section that I like, that kind of happens, and it's very, very obvious, so Brando Sando's, like, giving us bigger crumbs now, and you're just like, yeah, something definitely happened there, and she's not telling us or, like, admitting it to herself." But, let's see. The next chapter, oh, Shallan and Cal finally meet. This is when she
Mm,
manages to, like, get the boots off of him
yeah.
just by saying, like, "Give me your boots." She's good. She's good. That's what Tin's teaching her. And a preface from this chapter was from the listener Song of Secrets, and they said that the Spren betrayed the listener. So I guess like Ashonai's people were betrayed by the Spren, and that's why they can't like harness these other extra powers without like capturing a Spren first and like forcibly changing. Is my hypothesis. But that was funny the way that Shallan and Cal met. Well, he was on what do we call it? Like watch.
It was just a patrol.
Patrol.
Yeah, oh yeah, patrol.
They're doing their horse patrols.
Yeah. And like so Kaladin walked around barefoot back to the camp later. Like what the hell? He finished his patrols just no shoes.
Damn, dogs out for free.
Yeah, like but I'm like, how did that even work?
Wow.
I can't believe Cal actually cracked because like number one, he hates light eyes, and number two, it's like a younger like female. So he's like, who the fuck are you? Like,
Yeah, I just the way I see it is that I don't think he has the energy
he
to
just
deal
doesn't
with the
give a shit.
bullshit.
He's like, you know what?
Yeah,
Take them, because that's what you
like
would do, wouldn't you?
yeah, like if he's just reinforcing everything he knows about light eyes.
Yeah, very true, very true. He probably didn't expect anything less of her. He's like, you know what? This checks out. Have my boots. All right, in the next chapter, I forgot that Sadius's first name is Toril. This is kind of like a lame name, in my opinion.
Coral, kind of like coral.
Yeah, Toril. Maybe no wonder he goes by his last name.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then of course Amaram and Sadius are buddies. Rip. So we don't know to like what extent, or maybe Amaram is playing like double agent. We don't know yet, but I guess Sadius admits that he isn't behind the balcony assassination attempt. But I mean, we know more now, so that clearly was true.
Mhm. Wait,
And we
Yeah.
also saw Adeline, another duel for Adeline, and Sadeas like is the only one who realized Adeline be playing everyone.
Yeah, he can
Yeah.
see through the plan basically. But, I mean, I don't think he, like, told anyone yet, he's just, like, letting him go with it for now.
Mm.
And then yeah, the next chapter is back to Shalon, and she's drawing everyone's portrait who asked, so including Gaz and, like, her other servants. Like, that's nice. And then she finds out about the assassinations in Jakaved from Tin, so Tin has, like, that span read messenger writer, and, I guess they're writing to Tin about, like, all the political stuff going on, and then I forget the assassination Jakaved happened. Did it happen earlier in this book, or was it in the last book?
I
Forget.
thought it was in the. Well, no, it was we had the Tavaringian reveal at the end of the last book, but
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
when he gave Zeth the list. So maybe it happened
Oh,
earlier in
yes,
this
that's
book.
true, yep, the hit list, yeah, okay, so it must have happened earlier in this book, I can't really remember, but it's been, like, a hot minute, and then, news travels slow because, they don't got internet, so she finds out, that, so there's the much political upheaval in Roshar now. Chapter 32, The One Who Hates. So in Cal's dream, the Stormfather says that Cal will kill Syl somehow, very, like,
Oh
not,
yeah.
yeah, very
Christian.
vague. And that quote unquote he comes, as if there's some other more violent storm that will arrive. So like I don't know if they're talking about the Everstorm, and then like the Everstorm is like a guy, or like, personification of a god or something like that. But the one who hates sounds like it's connected to Odium and the hate
Mhm.
spren.
Yeah. There
I
But
mean,
was
Odium literally
in
being. Hmm?
I was saying in the last book there was in somebody said the odium comes. So I assume that that's what it's still referring
yeah,
to.
it's him, the one who knocks.
Him. Odium literally means hatred too.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
um,
He is the
I don't know,
biggest
Brent.
hater.
He is the literally named after it. Um, so yeah, I think saying that that's Odium is a pretty good um guess.
Mhm.
Uh, Still in this. Oh, okay. So like big stuff happening in this chapter. So now our man Zeth Son Villano is in the palace. So we're like, oh shit, he made it here because Elokar is on his list. And Kaladin and him are face to face, and they're battling out. Um, Kaladin's arm got hit with the shard blade really badly. So I was like, oh man, dude is losing an arm. This is
And it was
like
his main arm too.
yeah, this is a farewell to arms, quite literally.
But then we got Dalinar doing some epic shit and catching the shard blade mid swing.
Yeah, like
Yo,
the
that
in
was
anime would like catch the blade and like
Yeah,
clasp like
that's
and
some
like hold it above their
animation.
head.
yeah.
I just saw that in my head. I was like, this would make for a fire anime.
Yo, Brandon Sanderson, I know you be watching anime. I
Yeah,
see it.
like or it doesn't even have to be Japanese animation, just some kind of animation because you could do the surge binding really cool. Like I feel like it will look better because you could see like the stormlight and the swooshes in like animation versus like in live action.
Yeah.
It's like just kind of looks a little
Kind of
weird.
kind of
Doesn't
like
have
the
the
Wheel of
flair.
Time would have been better as an anime than
Mm.
as a live action.
Oh, they did a live action for that.
Yeah, it's in
Yeah.
like season 3 or something.
Oh.
Yeah. And like the real people obviously look. I mean, it's real, but then when they're trying to do, what's the name of their magic system? Like the we no, I keep forgetting. Anyway, it looked goofy. It would have been better as an anime.
Yeah, because I feel like there's only so much you can do, and like I feel like right now we've reached like the limit of the effectiveness of like CGI to portray like cool magic powers. Is like they all they do is like give them like cool sparks and like wispy stuff, which I mean the same thing happens in anime, but it's like in CG it tends to look all the same like the effects. So it looks like the Avengers like magic
Yeah.
powers shit. So it's like unless they found out a cooler way to represent these powers in like a live action setting, I think anime be the way to go still for something like this.
Like this whole fight will look so good. Like with the
Yeah.
stormlight being like inhaled and the lashings, like you can I'm sh- the you can even add like kind of like Demon Slayer like effects
Hmm.
where the lashings, even though people don't see it, really like you see it as the viewer, but whatever.
No, I
Um,
100% agree.
but yeah, Kaladin says, "Have a wicked fight."
And Adeline got stuck to the ceiling. Rip that guy.
Yeah.
He had no chance. No chance. Oh yeah, I wrote, how the hell did Dalinar catch the blade? What the fuck? That's what I wrote.
He's just
That's
him, you know.
yeah. He got some
Yeah, that
insane
was
plot armor.
hardcore.
And
I was
then
like,
the Syl
damn,
also
he's
mentioned that
cool.
or Kaladin's like talking out loud about like, how does this assassin in white have these like surge binding powers? Like who the fuck is with him giving these powers? But then Syl's like, no spren guides Zeth. Like he's just like has like innately like perverse powers basically, and there's no spren with him. That's interesting. So I do want to know the origins of Zeth's powers. Even we kind of sort of know like what his thing is called, but just not like how that goes about being a thing.
Yeah, it's
Um
like a punishment. So,
yeah.
like, did they do that to him?
Yeah, or like did he
Or
do something worse and now this
is
is
he
his
punished
punishment?
because he has that power? You know?
Yeah. And also like are there other people who are also truthless like that? Like is he like the first in a while or like the first ever? Those are my questions about Zeth. Alright, but we don't have to mourn Kaladin's hand and arm too soon because apparently he can heal it with a lot of concentration and Stormlight, which I thought was kind of a cop out, but makes sense, like system wise. So I was like, alright, I guess he doesn't lose his arm. Cool. Um, oh yeah, so I wrote maybe Zeth knew the truth about Spren, and that's why other people branded him truthless for it. So like the fact that Spren are like I guess whatever. Or maybe Spren, I think I meant to say Voidbringers or something. And then maybe like he had that knowledge too, but then he was trying to spread it, and then they're like, nah, and then like labeled him like a heretic and truthless and whatnot. So that was my guesses.
I think you like become truthless when you like do violence or
Yeah, because
something.
violence is like
Remember,
the
like,
worst thing they could do or something like
yeah,
that.
they had like
Armor is like
reverse
the best thing.
society,
Yeah.
and then
Like
like they're lowly, and so he was like cast out of society, I think, for something to
yeah,
do with
wasn't
like
it in
fighting.
this book that we have the merchants interludes where she's learning from the what was her name?
Oh yeah, in the previous section there was
Starts with like a
one.
V, or it's also very short.
Uh-huh.
But then
When
she
she like
meet
almost died.
yeah, she almost
Yeah.
died, and she meets the Shin, who she thought was royalty, but it turned out the Shin was just a farmer.
Oh, yeah, that was in the previous book, the first
Yeah, that was
time
the last book.
her
Yeah.
interlude. Uh-huh.
I don't
That
really
yeah,
remember that part. Is
the farmer is like the king, and they're like, what?
that with the chickens?
Hmm.
She sees it because Shin sounds like the closest to like our society and geology.
Yeah, because it's the
Like
only
Hmm.
their
place where there's
grass.
soil and
Yeah.
grass
Yeah.
and things like that.
I love when she was like, this grass is fucking dumb. Just get stepped on all the time. Why are these plants so stupid?
Yeah, why do these plants not retract? What the hell? I still have trouble picturing that though. Every time they mention like, oh, the high storm's coming and all the fucking buds retract, I'm like, what does that look like? And then it's
Yeah,
just rock and
I
sand.
assume it's in my head the way it's like kind of like how a Venus flytrap moves around based
Mm-hmm.
on stimulus. I'm assuming it's like that.
Yeah, I need a visualization of it. And I'm not turning to AI for that. Hell no. I'll envision it with my mind's eye. Oh yeah, I misspoke though. So Zeth actually came for Dalinar, I think. And
Yeah.
not Elhokar, but then because Elhokar's like flipping the fuck out, he's like, oh, this guy's attacking me again. Um But yeah, I forgot, yeah, I think from the last book, the person on his hit list is actually Dalinar and not Elhokar. Because they're like, he doesn't really do much. He's not worth it. But there are 38 days now, according to the high storm countdown thingamabob. Um, Beld dies, so Beld was from Bridge 4. That was the guy. I was confusing him and Bluth. So Beld died during this attack.
And Haber
And
got his legs cut off with
oh
a
yeah,
shard
wait,
blade.
but that's not
Not
the
like not literally cut off. Like he got him cut with the shard
Deadened.
blade, so he can't
yeah.
use
So
them.
they're just like non-mobile. Yeah, that's right. Okay, that's why they mentioned later on that they made him a little stool stump for him to like sit on. Which aw, so cute.
I
And yeah,
definitely
Haber.
forgot about that because I was like, did he get his legs removed in battle? I did not
Yeah,
remember that.
not literally. Yeah, I it's a good thing I noted that because I would have definitely forgotten.
Yeah, I wrote Oop Haber's still alive, but I didn't mention that his legs got cut because I was confusing him with the other guy that in the first book, the one who was like so traumatized that he never spoke, basically.
Yeah, me
Yeah,
too.
I don't remember that guy's name.
Also, one thing to note in that chapter, when Seth saw that Cal healed his hand and noticed he had Stormlight powers, he like started
He had a,
freaking the fuck out.
yeah, he had
Oh
crashed
yeah.
out.
He started crashing out and he ran
Crashing.
away because of it. Like
I guess
that's
he
the only
didn't know
reason
that
why he
other
ran away.
people. I guess
Cause
he
yeah,
didn't know
cause
that other people have the like Knight's Radiant powers now too, because he's
he,
probably like,
cause he was like going off about like he's like I'm the truthless. He's like and things like that. Like they said there was no one else, and we don't know who this they is. He's talking about and things like that.
I guess the people or person that like gave him these like powers, but I guess it seems like these powers are more like to Seth at least the powers are more of a curse and punishment
Yeah,
than like an advantage in battle like Syl and like the other I guess quote unquote friendly friend as far as we know are helping Shallan and Cal out. But
Also, like
Syl, yeah.
oh, go ahead.
The note I just had was that Syl says that Zeth's Shardblade is different because of the amount of Stormlight it was consuming. So it also makes sense where maybe it like Zeth's power isn't exactly like a Knight's Radiance power, especially because there's no Spren guiding him, but it's like some like evil reverse Knight's Radiant power,
it's reverse spread.
Inverse Spren. What are you saying?
No, that
Yeah.
I also would crash out if because in the whole book, the Radiance coming back is not exactly like a good thing.
Yeah,
It's like, oh
Yeah, it's like the
shit.
plagues
the
coming
the
back.
world
Yeah.
is going to an end. It's like Ragnarok beginning.
So if
Yeah,
Seth
literally.
knows that Radiance coming back is a bad thing, then I also would crash out, and also I would wonder who told him that.
I guess the people that gave him the powers. But that's what I was thinking. Like Seth definitely knows like some other like universe rules or like lore, whether he believes it like whether it was like a lie or truth that someone told him something else about like the lore and like the universe and Voidbringers and Knights Radiant, and then whatever truth that Seth knows, it's like he is a little bit more involved in this like underlying like conspiracy of like the Knights Radiance and what.
Mm.
Still very interesting. I can sense the Sanderlanche just like waiting for us. Maybe not at the end of this book, but eventually. Um okay, so yeah, right before what is this part 2? So part 2 is ending in this chapter, Blossoms and Cake. And Tin and Shallan are having a I guess another meeting, right, in Tin's tent.
Mm.
And then I wrote, oops, Tin's former job was to assassinate Jasna, and then shit just got messy. And then Shallan's in the tent with her, and Tin's like doing like a double take at Shallan, and I was like, oh. But then Shallan inhaled Stormlight and made like a projection to distract Tin from killing her. And
Mhm.
then Shallan finally on screen summons her Shard Blade and kills Tin, which was a really cool, like, not really a battle because it was kind of short, but like that was, if I can say, an epic moment of this book.
Hmm.
And then throughout the notes, it's revealed that Tin's benefactor, so like whoever was giving her these jobs, was indeed the Ghost Blood. So the Ghost Bloods again are popping up, and they're also looking for Ryu, or however you pronounce that.
Urithiru or whatever.
Or Urithiru. No,
Urithiru.
Urithiru, yeah.
Urithiru. There you go.
I don't
Uri,
know.
u, urs,
Uri.
whatever. Yeah.
Too many eyes to use.
Ooh, ooh, ee, ah, ooh, ooh,
Ooh,
ee, ah, ooh.
yeah,
It's the cat.
exactly.
It's the cat
Wait,
city.
can we just sub that as noise in for every time we're trying to pronounce the city?
Yeah, oh, yeah, oh.
Ooh, yeah, ooh, yeah.
The city of the magical cats.
All right, now we're back to the interludes. So we're back to Ishonai's POV. The listener song's named the Stormfather as a Spren who was a traitor to the listeners, I guess, for protecting the humans instead of the listeners. So that's a little bit more backstory. So Ishonai is going out into the storm to transform into what they think is like some greater power form that can like help them, I think, in their war, right? I
Like
forget what they
storm form or
storm
something.
storm form, yeah, something that her sister found. Um, so then Ashonai's there and is transforming, and they mentioned though that the Spren was red, but Ashonai
Yeah,
senses something's off, but obviously she
yeah.
can't pause the transformation. So
There's
then I feel like she's turning into a Voidbringer or like some lower
yeah,
form of that, right? And then the
yeah,
Stormfather speaks to her and said even he could not protect her or stop this from happening. So it's like
yeah.
inevitably the Voidbringers are like coming back.
She got lost in the sauce.
Somehow Voidbringers have returned.
Turn. Oh man. You finished it, right? Yeah.
Finished what?
Andor?
No, I never watched Andor.
Oh, I still gotta watch the last
Do
3
they
episodes.
explain how Palpatine returns?
Well, no, and to be honest, like nothing can ever make up for that. But it's certainly you definitely need to watch it.
It's on my list. I've never watched Rogue One, but I mean, I know what happens.
I mean, technically,
I've
you don't
seen the
have to
other
watch
movies.
Rogue One first because it's a prequel.
Well, so would it make more sense for someone who hasn't watched either? Should I watch like what's out of Andor for? Well, so is Andor continuing, by the way? Is there more seasons of it?
No, it's the last season.
No, it's
It's
over.
Okay,
2
Like
so
seasons.
should I
It's like a
watch
full
the
story.
entirety of
in
Andor
the
and then Rogue One, or should I watch
honestly, that
Rogue
would be a
One?
great
I mean,
it would be great for you.
I think you would at this point because it's all out. I would say yes because
Yeah.
everyone
Okay.
who's from what I've heard, everyone who watched Rogue One first and then finished Andor, then watched Rogue One again and made Rogue One even better.
It
So
did. We
Okay.
just did that last night. We finished Andor, then we watched Rogue One, and it made Rogue One like, because like I remember
Hit.
when we first watched Rogue One, the first like 30 minutes or like 40 minutes of the movie was like boom, 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 and I was like, what the fuck is going on? Now like watching Andor, it's like it's still boom, 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 but you know what the fuck is going on? You're like, yeah, I know these characters,
mm,
but
Okay, good to know. I will add it to my never-ending list of things to watch, but it's higher priority.
mm.
Especially after I just watched the prequels in the theater, so now I'm kind of on like a Star Wars streak. Now I'm not getting caught off guard by people's weird ass names.
Mm.
the what?
You know the meme that it's like, "What's your favorite Glup Shido
Oh
from
yeah,
Star
oh
Wars?"
yeah, oh yeah, glorp, glorp, glorp,
Glop
yeah,
Shido. Yo, my favorite
glip
character is
glop,
Glop Shido.
glorp shito, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm
So
so
then I was just like looking up names, and then he was talking about all these characters and whose names basically sounded like Glop Shido to me, and I'm
Yeah.
just like, you are just proving the point.
Yeah, he's like, oh yeah, my favorite character was Boba Fett. He's like, Boba Fett. He's like, you don't like Glorp Shido?
Yeah.
I'm so
Nah,
be out
his
of
is
it.
like Max Rebo, which is like the guys who play the instruments. It's the Max
Yeah.
Rebo band, and it's Max Rebo, Droopy McCool, and like some other third person. And I'm like, what? What is this?
I mean, I mean, canonically, it's jizz music, so.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
is
that
true. It
too.
is. Oh my god. Yeah. All right. Uh.
But see, it makes me
Anyway.
appreciate Brando Santos fantasy names a little bit more because they're somewhat realistic.
Hey man, there's still more books. Glorp Shido might come in.
Glorp Shido. What's
I
the
mean, at
Brando
least
Sando equivalent of Glorp Shido?
I appreciate Brando Santo that he doesn't have like all these different character names that sound like otherworldly, and then someone named Bob.
Mm.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
that's
those are
honestly
cool.
what gets me. Yeah, in Star Wars.
It's like I mean, in Star Wars, like there's some like wait, who's the most normal named character in Star Wars? Like, is there like a
Uh,
Steven running
Luke.
around?
Luke is
Uh,
just a name.
Luke
Luke's a pretty name. A pretty
Oh, you're
normal
right,
and
name.
Luke.
Leia.
And technically, Obi-Wan goes just by Ben at some point.
Ben
Oh,
Kenobi,
that
yeah.
is true. Ben Kenobi.
So Bens do exist in that universe.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, then yeah. Well, he's
To be
he
fair
wasn't
though,
really.
those were like the original, so it makes more sense that you would have like he didn't fully flesh it out yet.
He really thought he was gonna make like a one-time movie of like just space wizards.
Hmm.
Um,
And then the
wi-
universe grew
with
too big.
in the universe, yeah, exactly, grew too big. So I
He's like, I
don't
need
blame him
names. I need names.
You know what I need?
for
I need Cal Kestis to come into this Star Wars universe in the movies because the games have some of the best stories in recent Star Wars, in my opinion.
you still need to
Recent,
play Knights of the Old Republic. I know it's like
oh,
dated,
dude.
but
I
like
mean, the thing is, though, at this point, I gotta wait for the remake, right?
That they
the
like
remake is
paused.
never happening.
That is a good point. I think it's got it keeps getting like stopped
Yes.
every year.
Believe me, I've
Is it
gone through
even
the
with the
different
same
stages of grief
production?
multiple times with the remake. And I'm back to square one where I just replayed
At
the
this point, it's worse than the Ouran High School Host Club remake, like rumors, because at least those are always just rumors. This
rumors.
is like an
Yeah.
actual thing that's supposed to happen, but just keeps getting stopped.
Yeah, no, I'll
Is there
take like
mods to just like make the graphics look a little more presentable?
No. It's like a full
no.
remake. It's a full remake.
No, I mean like because the remake, as we know, is probably not going to come out. Like, is there a way to just like make the current releases of the old game like better?
I mean, theoretically, there's always a way, but at the level that they probably need to do it, it's basically like what Sky Oblivion was trying to do. I feel like that they'd
Yeah.
have to do,
Which
which
isn't it
it's
crazy?
still not out, and Oblivion got a remake already from the official source. So like
Yeah, yeah,
that you
that's
can
kind of
imagine how
crazy.
hard it is to like do
Hmm.
something like that.
Yep.
But
All right, rip.
yeah, rip.
We'll wait.
Anyway,
We'll be like 50, and Knights of the Old Republic remaster or
Bro,
remake will come
I'm gonna
out.
be on my deathbed.
Yeah.
Full VR is out, and that's when it comes out.
I can die happy after I play it again. After that, I
Like,
don't really
yeah.
care about anything.
Honestly, if I go into the game and if I die in the game, I die in real life. So
And
be
then I
it.
never left. Yep, exactly. Like I died to a lightsaber. Like who can say that?
Coolest way to go out.
But
Go back to
back to
Words
Randall
of
Sando
Radiance.
land.
uh, the net. The next intro. Were there anything else about the Ishonai transformation sequence, magical girl transformation
Nah, I mean
sequence?
we get to see her again later, so we could talk about it
Yeah.
then too.
But we see in the next interlude Cal in the rain going to see Master Zahel. Zahil.
The hell. The hell.
It's a word though.
Interlude that he can sense Phil
Oh
You can
yes,
and
sense
you
what?
and
yeah.
used
Oh,
to have a
Syl.
voice in his head, which is a quote from him.
Yes.
So he
Yes, that's
like
what I wrote too.
maybe used to have a power, but like what
Mm.
happened to his spren or
Okay,
something?
this makes my notes make more sense now. Thank you.
He's funny though. I like him like as a character.
Oh
All
yeah,
of these like people in
I
Dalinar's
love
camp.
a
Mhm.
crotchety like old mentor, like who's
Yeah,
being forced
disgruntled
back into
monk.
the game, basically.
I like he's also like he's like from somewhere else because he keeps being like your language you guys got no metaphors or
Yeah.
that
Oh
and
yeah, yeah,
so
yeah,
I'm
yeah. Yeah.
like is he from somewhere else in this world or is he another whatever they call them
Like
universe
ethnicity.
A
hopper
world
people
hopper,
World hoppers.
world hopper yeah
kind of like Wit. I
mm-hmm.
think Lewis. Actually, no, never mind.
Wait, we know who. Actually, I don't know anything. I don't want to know anything. Not
Yeah,
after last
we've
time.
You've learned.
I mean I think it's pretty obvious by now.
But now that what, Wit or Zahel?
Whip.
Oh,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
yeah, wit is obvious. Yeah.
Well, well, because we even used the name in the last book, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we know him, but yeah, this guy's funny. He's like, damn monks can't have shit. No locks, one blanket. Like, they literally don't have anything. And he came from the outside, and, it wasn't his dream job to be a monk at all.
Damn.
Sometimes you just live long enough to become a
Yeah.
monk.
Or I feel like was he forced into it? It didn't seem like he's enjoying this. Or I feel like maybe it was his only option for whatever reason, and he
Yeah,
had
I'm
to
think
become a monk.
I
I
don't
don't
think
know.
it didn't sound like he was forced, but it sounded like it was his only option.
Yeah, I
Or
want
like
more of the
that
hell
maybe he
lore later.
doesn't like whatever the other option is.
Yeah, like kind
Like
of
maybe he doesn't want to be
indirectly
a soldier, you
forced.
know?
Yeah,
Mhm.
it is almost like indirectly forced because the only other option sucked ass for him.
Yep. All right. Well,
Uh,
we see more of him. He's a funny guy. But yeah, the voices in his head is like, yeah, suspicious.
Mm.
The next interlude is back to town or Talonel Ellen.
Talonel and
Tylenol Ellen.
Tylenol Ellen?
Talonel. It's Talonel Ellen.
Ellen DeGeneres is in this, this book.
Is that how you pronounce it though? Do you guys pronounce it otherwise, like differently?
Talonel Ellen. No,
It's
that makes sense.
Talonel, like Talonel
Talonel
apostrophe Ellen.
Ellen
Eileen? I
uh-huh.
don't know.
Ellen Talonel
I think
Ellen.
that's maybe like a. I feel like don't the other ones also have that like suffix? Some of them, so
Some
it might be like some
apostrophe.
kind of
Yeah.
honorific.
Mm.
Well,
It's
we call him
it's
Talon for short.
Mhm.
Talonel. Sorry.
But
We're
yeah,
gonna
he is
find out
the
like boopity
herald of
blah boopity
war.
blah for him.
So the last time we saw Talon was at the end of the last part, so the end of part 1, I think. And
Yeah.
Talon is sounding like a broken tutorial video that you can't skip, but is also like horribly outdated. It's giving like Wheatley or like the Portal 2 intro, if you know what I mean. Where it's just like an automated voice and like he has to say it because he's contractually obligated to, even though he knows like shit is bad.
Oh, is it bad that I've never played Portal?
No,
Not
but it's fun. If you get
I
motion sick though, maybe
I
don't
mean
play it. But
I I mean I don't think it's bad that you haven't played it, but I will say, actually, do you like puzzle games?
I mean, I like
yeah, it's
the
like physics
original
puzzles.
Zelda games.
Because it is technically just a puzzle game.
I like puzzle games. Puzzle
Nah,
games with a story are my favorite.
Hmm
I feel like you'd enjoy it, and the story is actually like the story behind the actual puzzles is actually pretty interesting too.
Yeah, and I've also only played Portal 2. I think I played like half of Portal 1, but you don't necessarily have to play the first one.
But I recommend playing the
But yeah,
first one.
you should, but it's not like it's
The
not gonna
second one,
ruin the immersion.
I preferred Portal 2 though over
Yeah,
Portal 1.
Portal 2 they went more deeper with the lore and like other backstory stuff. Portal 1 like kind of just sets the stage.
That's good. Like a sequel that improves on the original.
Yeah.
You
I mean,
usually don't
Valve
see
is
those.
always pretty good with that though. Oh,
Yeah, that is
thank
true.
you, Valve. Except they can't make
Mm.
third game, so rip.
Yeah, for some reason the curse of the third game for Valve is real. But hey, we get GTA 6 next May.
If it doesn't get delayed again.
And you guys saw we're getting Witchbrook this year.
What?
I saw that. That's on Steam.
Yeah. You
Which
know,
what?
like it's like a magical social RPG by the same people, the same publisher as Stardew Valley,
Oh shit, really?
where
Oh.
you're like in a magical school.
Okay, I
I
think
thought
this
he
is
was
more up
making
my
that
this is more my
haunted
speed.
chocolatier or something like that, or is that separate? Or is that what
Huh?
this game became? Wasn't he working on like the haunted chocolatier or something like that? Or is that like just a code name for this game?
Oh, I
The
don't.
Stardew Valley guy?
Oh no,
Yeah,
it's not like it's not by the Stardew Valley guy. It's by the
Oh.
publisher of the
Oh, that's why. Okay, yeah, no, because the Stardew Valley guy is working on a separate game, which is not Witchbrook, but okay, that makes sense now.
it does look very Stardew Valley though. Looking at it.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's extremely Stardew. Like it's you can definitely see that it was very much inspired by that kind of like social sim.
Yeah.
But
But
now
instead of
it's
having a
witchcraft.
farm, you're a student, which is more up
High
to
school
my
AU.
The kids
yeah.
yearn for education.
The kids yearn for fun education.
Yes,
They
exactly.
want to be able to read.
Oh god, yeah.
Give them literacy.
But yeah, it comes out in October, I think.
Okay. I will definitely be checking this out. I love a little magical school.
Nice. I
I
feel
know
like
me.
that game's gonna be a huge time sink. That's why I haven't played.
But I think it doesn't look like it's gonna be as much of a time sink based on what I'm reading. I
All
think.
right, that's good. I'll check it out.
Actually, maybe not. I'm reading more, and I might have just
You're like,
like
wait,
fully lied.
it's
But
gonna be like Animal Crossing all over again. You have to log in every day. Real
see, yeah,
365 calendar.
I can't do like those everyday sim games. Like it, I I I have too many things I want to do.
It's also up to 4 characters, guys, so we can
Ooh,
all
Wait, it
multiplayer.
be
is?
We
Oh, it
can live
is?
out our
yeah,
witch school dreams.
Guys,
we
we
can live our
can
school
go to
dream
school.
together
Guys,
again.
we can go to school and not have debt.
Whoa.
The actual
What?
fantasy.
And learn magic.
That is the
That's
American fantasy, is being
just
able to get an education without going into debt.
Hell yeah. All right, back to town though. So oh yeah, I forgot. He has a shard blade and he summons it, and I don't know. Like he summons it and puts in the rock, so it didn't disappear. And I guess he's
Mm,
like kind of gifting it to the humankind. I'm assuming that's what he's contractually obligated to do. But the people or whoever he was talking to in the camp, they just kind of like took it or they left it there. And then my question was, what are they going to do with that shard blade? And also with Talon himself, because he's just kind of like chilling, but he's like dying at the same time. I feel like,
I
Yeah,
think
he's like
he's full
empty in the
crazy.
eyes.
yeah.
Yeah, he's like full crazy. I mean, if you've been stuck in what I get sounds like hell of this world for like who knows how long, I would also go crazy.
hmm And then the last interlude, uh, I think is Shonai comes back to the town. Um,
Mm,
and then apparently something is bad if like a listener has red eyes. Apparently, I guess
yeah,
that probably
definitely
means you are
Voidbringer.
like yeah Voidbringer underling type.
She
But
drank the Kool-Aid.
they seem to think that Shonai's in storm form now because it's like wow storm form so cool, and then I'm like I don't think that's storm form, you guys. But it's
Or
Shonai
is
too.
it? And that's what and, like maybe and this was the warning of never like maybe they shouldn't use storm form.
Do they warn that
Yeah, I
they should
think
never
it's
use
just
Stormform
bad.
then?
Yeah, because I think they said there's a reason why we shouldn't use like certain forms, and like there was like some I forgot someone warned them, or like there were some things about like those old forms that they were hesitant about transforming into because there's a reason why they stopped.
Well,
Okay, and I guess
Shonai was before she did it.
Yeah, yeah,
She
and then
was like, "I don't think we should be doing this,"
yeah,
but then it took over her mind.
yeah, and she talks about like well basically when she like in her head she's like screaming or something like that. It was giving
Yeah.
what is that movie? The Jordan Peele movie?
Get
Um
Out.
Get Out, yeah. Like in the she's in the sunken place right now in her own head.
Yeah, so the Stormform is like kind of like controlling her at this point, and then Ashonai knows in her own head that like this was a mistake.
Mm,
So, but I mean, as we see later, she is still under the influence of Stormform. So
she's gone full Voidbringer. Never
yeah,
go full
she's full
Voidbringer.
Storm.
Rip.
All right, that brings us to part 3. So we'll go a little bit faster here. This was a long ass title name though. The multiplied strain of simultaneous infusion. I don't even know what that was
It like
supposed to have.
barely fits in the little like title block area.
Yeah.
They like really had to squeeze it in.
Oh, so this is a photo we saw before. Navani's working on like a hovering platform with her like engineering stuff. Um oh yeah, and then in the pre-word it talks about a Nahel bond. Apparently, each order shares one surge with its neighbors in, I guess, like whatever sequential order they're like listed in. But that's a side fun fact about the Knights Radiance, I
When they
guess.
described that, Ren, it reminded me of the Nen affinities for some reason.
I
What
mean,
is that from?
yeah, I guess so.
In Hunter x Hunter, there's like a pentagram of Nen or like a circle of Nen affinities, and every Nen affinity is like you have one affinity, but you can also use the other affinities that are like next to your affinity.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that does sound very similar.
Hmm. Like a big old Venn diagram.
Yeah.
They mentioned something interesting here though, that soul casting makes your eyes turn to gems and your skin starts to be like stone. I guess that's like what they saw, the people who do the soul casting in the war camp, they start getting a little like hollow inside.
Mm.
And oh yeah, I guess Easter egg, Rushu, the one of the scribes, was reading the report from that couple that was testing the reaction of flame spren from the last book. I think they were an interlude.
Oh, yeah.
So like when they observed the flame spren like do their like number or like measurements like change. But it's like only when they look at them they like stop changing, something like that. But yeah, so Navani's doing her engineering shit. Next chapter, Shallan and Kaladin are back face to face, and they're like queens of sass at each other. It's hilarious. I don't necessarily ship them, but they're giving like sibling vibes, if you know what I mean.
Mm. Yeah,
And
they had
also
like a diss off.
yeah,
I will say, because like this, how like Adeline also hates Kaladin. I feel like that's how they're gonna. That's one of the things they'll bond over, Shallan and Kaladin, or no, Shallan and Adeline, is through their hatred of Kaladin.
but I feel like these three are like very similar in age. Well, Shallan's the youngest, then Cal, and then Adeline. But like they could be besties if they weren't at each other's throats all the time.
We'll
Well, at
get
least with
there.
Cal.
I think we can get there.
Yeah, we think we can get that Nakama power going between these guys. I believe.
Ruppel question mark.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think we can achieve thruple.
Dang. All right, that's another step after Nakama.
Oh, Brando Santa would never give us this.
Oh,
But
he would never.
But I'm sure someone
Well,
wrote fics about it already.
That's what I'm achieving in my head. So
We also got a new vocab word from the Words of Radiance. Preface. Dust bringers is a new vocab word. So we got void bringers, dust bringers. Don't know if that's the same thing. Kind of just mentioned. I have no notes for chapter 37, so if anyone has something to add.
It was just he has another duel, and he is smitten by Shallan. That's all I wrote.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're cute. Yeah, the next chapter 38. I was like, fam, are we shipping Shallan and Adeline for now? At least like if you're into hetero ships, like are we or are we not? I think they're pretty cute right
look,
now.
I can
No,
ship
it's pretty
it.
cute.
I'm open. That's why I'm shipping thruple
Yeah.
because I
You're like,
think
this
they
is
both
just
have a
step
good
one.
dynamic.
Yeah. You have to get at least one first, and then you can get the other.
I think like you have the enemies to lovers in Kaladin and Adolin.
Mhm.
Also Kaladin and Shallan. Everything
Mhm.
everything Kaladin really is enemies to lovers.
Yeah,
And
Kaladin is
then
always having enemies.
It's
Yeah.
everyone's an
lovers.
enemy that can potentially become a lover.
then Shallan and Adolin has the more I guess the more like will they won't
Standard.
they? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We're like she's not like other girls
She isn't
Yeah.
though.
for him.
Yeah.
So it keeps him
No.
engaged. See, the problem is just that Adeline isn't made for monogamy.
Yeah, he's a whore.
That's why it hasn't worked for him. So
Actually, yeah,
I'm
though, because
solving
they kind
everyone's
of mentioned
problems.
like
Be
not that they
careful, guys.
mentioned it, but
We're getting real close to red pill territory now.
but also this chapter Shallan called Dallin are ugly. I just thought that was funny.
Yeah, that was my note. That was insane. She said, and I quote, his face was a tad unfortunate.
Oh, yeah, she said that in her head. Okay, that's good. She didn't just say this to Adeline.
in her head. But I was like,
that is a
oh,
great insult. I love that.
Yeah, unfortunate. Yeah, you have a very unfortunate face, I have to say. Like, damn.
It's like
unfortunate.
you have the face of someone who drinks too much chocolate milk. It's like that.
Oh yeah.
When you think
That's
about
more
the
of an
know me.
insult
guy,
to my character though, less my
That's a
physical
good point.
appearance.
That's a good point. Yeah.
the guy probably has been in so many fights and he's gotten so many like fractures that I'm
Oh,
not
so
Yeah.
surprised.
yeah,
They
his
said his
nose
nose was
must be
broken, yeah.
fucked. Like it's definitely broken in like 50 places.
And like reattached wrong in those 50 places.
Yeah, it's definitely not been set correctly every time it broke.
No. But they did say earlier that like Gavilar was like the handsome brother.
Ooh.
Like
Yeah.
Navani talked
Ooh.
about that. Like he was the more always
Yeah.
the more like handsome.
Damn,
But
Navani was
handsome in the male
surface
gaze
level.
or the female gaze.
Hmm.
Yeah. That's the
I mean, if
question.
you're
Not in
into
Navani's gauge.
war-torn faces, then you might like Dalinar.
Yeah.
All right, chapter after this, though, another Shallan flashback. So, ew, but Shallan's father was going to get married to someone's youngest daughter. I was
Oh
like, predator
yeah, like
vibes,
a
no.
literal like a
Mm.
child,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah, that was, I mean, I kind of was,
Given the world is very medievally
yeah, not
from the sounds of it.
surprising, but also just still weird. But then Shallan starts cracking jokes about her dad and is just like a complete savage. I didn't quote any of them, but that was a funny part of it.
Mm. And in this chapter, we meet someone who is a half dark, half light eyes. Is this the first time we've seen someone like that?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
why the chapter's called
Yeah.
heterochromatic, which is
Oh,
pretty
I
cool.
didn't. I really should read the chapter titles or
Oh,
memorize them.
yeah, it's
Uh,
the guy who's like trying to strong arm, I
yeah,
think.
Redin, the son of High Prince Valam.
Yes, that guy. So the next chapter, in the forward, the Recreants was the name for an event where they abandoned their oaths. I think they've been mentioning that, but like since they don't use these words often, I just always make a note of it for the deep lore. Shallan is confirmed age 17, and she's in the big meeting with the high princes and the king and all those people. And she's still weaseling her way into stuff, as learned by Tin. So she gets Sibariel, one of the high princes, to just kind of like take responsibility for Shallan. It's like, yeah, that's my uncle. And then he's like, my uncle, yeah, okay. But he is kind of like an opportunist economy guy out on the Shattered Plains, so he's not really there for the war. He's kind of like sees opportunities and makes money off of it
Yeah, but he's
a slick way.
playing chess while they playing checkers right now, though.
Yeah. But I mean, he's not doing so bad for himself. And he has a mistress named Pelona, who's her Dazian, so
I like Pelona.
unmarried. Pelona's nice
I
though, yes.
actually like Pelona and Sibariel's
Sibariel, yeah.
their dynamic.
Yeah, at first I thought this guy was gonna be like a greasy, like also predator vibes type, which he
Yeah,
still is kind of giving a predator vibes type, but at least like he's a little bit chill and
but
normal,
but
like
I
in
think
his
that's
own
just
camp.
his front. You know what I mean to
Yeah.
everyone else, because like clearly Pelona does like Sibariel, and
Hmm.
like he actually doesn't seem like a bad guy.
Yeah,
Like
he treats everyone well. He's
yeah.
not like an abuser or anything like that.
Especially
So
compared to like literally all the other people in this
yes.
book.
He's more of just like a pure capitalist,
Hmm.
Yeah.
He's an opportunist.
Oh yeah, we have 10 more chapters to go, and I see we have to be on another call. All right, we'll speed mode this. So, oh yeah, Kaladin goes doctor mode when Renarin says he has epilepsy. So that's his,
Yeah.
I guess, blood weakness that Renarin's afflicted with this whole time. But I don't know. Kaladin says it's myoclonic. Is that real, Andrea? Is that a thing?
Myoclonus, yeah.
Okay. So I guess there's different types of epilepsy. I'm not particularly sure, but then Kaladin goes like whole diagnosis mode, and Renarin's like, "How do you know this?" And he's like, field medicine." And then Renarin's like,
Yeah,
"What are you talking about? Like, how would they know about epilepsy?"
in the field.
Yeah, but
But
Renarin's cute. He's joining, I guess, Bridge 4. Was that after this or before this? I don't really remember. I
yeah,
think
that
this
was
is
this. He was
when.
like asking Cal to do it. My note for this
Yeah,
chapter is Renarin, my baby boy.
yeah. He's
Wait, that's so
baby
funny.
Such a
boy,
My
boy.
note
Yeah.
is Ren such a baby girl.
baby
Yeah,
boy,
he's
baby
just
girl.
such a
It's a
sweetie.
genderless title. But this is
It's
also the first
baby.
time that Cal puts Moash as a person of interest in the railing assassination attempt, so more on that later.
Mm.
Shallan can now change her appearance at will with her new light weaving powers, so like she's getting better at it. I don't understand that code thing that Pattern was talking about in the cipher. So now Shallan's pretending to be Tin, because Tin's benefactors don't know Tin's dead. And they send her like a message in code, and she has to respond back in the same code, to verify it's Tin. But Pattern's like, yeah, it's just you take this quintet letter code thing and you reply back with the same two. I'm like, I don't understand that. Did anyone else understand what was going on with the code?
It was
No,
so
I
long
was like
ago, I don't
trying to
Nope.
figure
remember.
it out based on like what they're doing, but I was like,
As long
no,
as
I
the
was
character
confused.
knows what's going on, I'm happy to just follow along.
Yeah, I was
I'm
trying, but I was just like, this is too much.
I'm assuming I probably just read it and went, "Yep, that sounds right," and then I
Yep,
continued.
she got the code. Okay. So then she goes to meet the Ghost Bloods at the night market, and this is where the stream title comes in. She basically bought Tanghulu at the night market. It's just like covered covered fruits in sugar. So I was like, does Brando Sando know Tanghulu exists?
Yeah.
And
Well, it's there's like everything kind of has Asian influence in lots of things in
actually
this
they
world,
got
so
curry.
it kind of tracks.
The Ghost Blood guy has violet eyes, and I wrote, damn, I always wanted my OCs to have violet eyes.
Yeah,
That's
that's
always
a
the
good one.
thing. But this Ghost Blood guy is kind of scary. But Shalon's bluff is slightly paying off, and then Shalon's like, "Oh shit, I'm in deep shit now." I wrote she has imposter syndrome to the max. But the guy's name is Mirage. Mirage. I don't know.
Yeah,
I was like, that goes hard. It
raised.
sounds like Mirage.
Oh, I
Yeah.
know in this chapter was that when Shallow's trying to buy the Tanghulu, she gives him like up $500 equivalent.
Yeah.
and, and it always reminds me of that. What is that from Arrested Development, where she goes, "What could a banana cost? $12." I'm like, that's Shallow.
That happened when we were in the Philippines though, because we were trying to get like the skewer food, and I didn't have like a bill denomination lower than basically like $10, but the skewer was like 10 cents, and I'm like,
Yeah.
how are they gonna break this? Like they didn't have enough cash on them, basically, to give me like exact change. So we just like ate a whole bunch of food, and it was
Yeah,
and that
we
way the
just we
change
we
they
just
gave us
we were
back.
just forced to buy
Yeah,
like
we're like, we'll
like
buy at your
30
stand. Just
skewers.
take the $10. Like, oh my god. But yeah, I felt that. The next chapter, though, Moash basically admits that he has a grudge against Elokar when Kaladin confronts him. It's supposedly because Moash or Elokar got Moash's grandparents killed while they were out, which is, that's a sad story, but like harboring this kind of vengeance against someone you're supposedly supposed to keep safe is not a good idea. And then we get a flashback from Shallan again, and they're in whatever Middle Fest. Sounds like a summer carnival type thing that her dad hosts. But these axe hounds are fighting. They got dog fighting this universe apparently. That's sad. Um this also, yeah, this sus guy spiked his own cup with something but not Shallan's father's cup. I didn't really understand that. I don't know if anyone else picked up on that.
Was that Wit?
It was weird.
It didn't seem like it.
I don't think
Because
so.
the way he said, he's like, I don't know, like the way they
Oh,
described
the
it made
guy
it
who
sound like,
talked to Shallon, not the guy who
yeah.
talked to her
Oh, yeah,
dad.
yeah, yeah. Sorry, I was mixing the two up.
Yeah, that was what I thought also. Yeah.
Oh yeah, but then the guy who talked to Shallan quoted, I think that's Words of Radiance, right? Two blind men waited at the end of an era, contemplating beauty. They sat atop the world's highest cliff, overlooking the land and seeing nothing. Is that from Words of Radiance?
I don't know.
I don't
Have we seen that
remember. Way
before?
of
Because I
Kings. Doesn't Dalinar quote that?
something like that, right? It's something from the book.
Yeah, one of them.
Let me control F my notes. Yeah. Oh wait. Okay. No. JK. This is the only time I've written out the quote at least. But I think someone mentioned maybe like the first part of this quote to the two blind men part, because I vaguely remember that being mentioned somewhere else, but I don't really know. But this messenger guy seems to know that she has light weaving powers, because this is like
Yeah.
the guy that is, I think, her oldest brother's friend, and her oldest brother like ran off to go do who knows what revolutionary stuff. It sounds like and it sounds like he also has similar light weaving powers, or like knight's radiant powers. So interesting. All right. Here we find out more about the assassination attempt. We also learn that edge dancers are another type of radiant, so I just wrote that down. Yeah, I wrote Renarin is the cinnamon roll of Bridge 4. He's trying to wash the dishes and fit in. He's so I don't if anything bad happens to him,
Yeah.
I will be very upset.
Kill everyone and then myself.
Yeah, I will kill everyone and then myself if anything happens to Renarin. Oh yeah, and then this is where the graphic quote comes from. So they talk about like Kaladin is trying to become more normal, I guess, and he's going out drinking with his friends, and they're
Wait,
like,
wait.
"Oh,
They also
yeah,
give
Become more
they give Shen a spear too. He's
yeah,
finally
so
part of Bridge
cute.
4. And he was so happy. Ah, dude, it's so cute.
mm-hmm, yeah."
But he like
Dalinar finally let him.
needed to tell Cal something, but they got interrupted.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, but then they're like, "Nah, you gotta come out drinking."
I mean, sounds familiar.
You gotta be
Yeah,
with the boys.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. A day of honest labor followed by an evening at the tavern with friends. What a life. That's the dream. I mean, minus the labor part, but you know, getting to go out with your friends afterwards after a day of hard work. Very rewarding. Um, and then we get some backstory on Rock while they're at the tavern. So he took a dip in the water of life ocean things that are in the mountains by him, and that happens to have a connection with the gods, which is why he can see Syl. He said he saw Lunu Anaki, which is the god of travel and mischief, while he was taking a dip in those god-connected oceans. But for some reason, Zigza was bothered by the fact that Rock said this, so I'm not sure if like Zigza knows something about this god. So I wrote like foreshadowing question mark. Did anyone else get that vibe?
Yeah, or like I got the vibe that he saw somebody, but it wasn't that god.
Okay. So like
That was
Zigza
somebody
knows
else.
something, but he's like just not saying it.
Yeah.
But so then Moash takes Cal to like the back room, and this whole group of quote unquote patriots is in cahoots with Moash, and they were the ones behind the whole Elhokar assassination attempt. So they have Graves, who is the shard blade guy who cut the stone, and then also Danlan, who we know as one of the scribes in Dalinar's camp, which is kind of surprising, but it's cool that she has like another role because she has been name dropped like multiple times before. Anything else from this chapter?
That was it for me.
All right. Next, it turns out that Pattern can read Dawn Chant, and then
Wait.
Erithreu is like some kind of. I was thinking that maybe Erithreu is some kind of higher being, kind of like Nirvana, where like it's not a physical place to be geographically, but you
Mm.
Um,
could be in a
also,
state of
for
it.
some reason, in this chapter, I have a note that just says they are autistic, but I don't know what this is referring to.
Yeah, who is autistic?
I don't know what I'm referring to. Am I referring to Patterns people or something? Like, I don't.
No, I don't think
I
so.
would think it's pattern
Maybe.
people.
Maybe. Just trying to figure out
I'm
stuff.
trying
I
to.
mean,
I'm
they
trying.
don't live by the human social
Yeah.
standards.
Yeah. I don't know what this is referring to. I really wish I did not read this book like a month and a half ago.
He's funny though. I like Pattern. I hope he's not evil. That's all I can say. Oh,
Mm.
in this chapter though, so this is where we get that hint of Shallan hiding something. So Shallan says she's only been doing this light weaving thing for a short time, but then Pattern interrupts as if to say like, "Oh, what are you talking about? Don't
Mm.
you remember?" And then like she literally says she completely tuned him out. And then I'm like, this is
Mhm.
suspicious.
Well, because she
So
like does that
That girl has
whenever she thinks about
PTSD.
like, yeah, her mom stuff. She like can turn off her
her
thoughts.
brain, yeah.
Yeah, when she like doesn't want to think about something. So I was like, oh,
So
she knows, but like she's pretending she doesn't know.
yeah, so she's clearly had these powers for longer than she thinks she has, or longer than she admits she has. Oh yeah, Shallan is in savage wordplay mode in this other flashback with her and her brothers. But also it seems like Wilkim, who was like one of her like next oldest brother, I think, was going to kill himself with those blackbane leaves, or kill their father with it, is like the vibe I got. But he's like, oh, I don't need these anymore, and then gives it to Shallan to like dispose of, I guess.
Mhm.
But then these loan sharks came and took Jushu because Jushu was gambling off a whole bunch of shit and he couldn't pay back his debts. But then she saved him by going after the carriage that he was like tied to and just like traded some valuable stuff for her brother back. Then Shallan's dad goes like ape shit mode again. It is terrifying.
And he beats the maid.
Yeah,
Yeah, breaks her arm.
that's crazy though. All right. Almost there. We're back to Adeline, Shalon, cute date shit. Oh yeah, this is a quote from the book. Adeline browsed the folio, oversized by design, so it wouldn't be mistaken for a woman's book. So I was like, fellas, is it still gay to read? Like, now they have to distinguish book sizes just in case they get mistaken for reading
Now
legit
that's
stuff.
that's a man book right
That's
there.
hilarious. Yeah, that book's big. For big hands only.
Big
Fellas,
pictures.
does
Yeah,
size
big
matter?
pictures. It's like
Does
picture
size
book.
matter, y'all?
Size, yeah. Does size
Yeah.
matter? Fellas, is
Yeah,
it
do you
gay to
think it's
want
like
something bigger?
one of those like cardboard back books for like babies?
Yeah.
The huge, like thick cardboard pages.
Men only read big picture books.
Yeah, the bigger the better. Bigger means
Yeah.
stronger. But now high storm viewing is a fad, which is also like I thought was weird, but also like hilarious at the same time. So they're on this little date and they're on
Mhm.
like a balcony that has a view of the high storm that's coming, and you're supposed to watch it until it gets super close and then go into the storm shelter. Shalon is so fucking awkward though. She's asked Adeline what happens if he needs to poop while wearing Shardblade. I'm like, y'all
yeah.
only been dating for like 2 weeks.
Okay, but
she's
that's
asking the real questions. What are you
Yeah,
talking
asking the right
about?
questions. Like,
Yeah, how
as we
does
all
one poop?
know,
And then it's
that's
funny that
a
they give the full
very
description.
important,
Yeah,
a
Adeline was
very
full
important
graphic mode.
relationship milestone of talking about if you've ever shit yourself.
A
Yeah.
real soldier lets his boys wipe him.
Yeah. Yeah. I honestly didn't think about that until Shalon asked the question. You're like, Shalon's asking the real questions here. And then Adeline admits that he shot himself 3 times. Trying to play it. Yeah, and then Shalon and her quote feminine mystique. I was like, this is hilarious. So they're getting along quite nicely, and I guess Adeline wasn't too turned off by Shalon's awkward questions.
Mhm.
And then
He got into it. He stopped checking out the waitress.
What'd you say?
He like got into her after that. He stopped like checking out the waitress.
Yeah.
He was like looking at other women at the beginning of the date, and then he stopped.
oh man.
Oh
That's real
man,
love right
all you
there.
need to do is
That's
ask
love
them
right
about their
there.
bowel movements.
And he's like, I just don't know what I'm doing wrong. Uh,
He's hopeless. But I hope Shalon and him work out in some type of way, or that they at least are friends. They get friend zoned. But Shalon is in it raptured, I guess is the word I'm looking for, by the high storm, and it's like coming in like 10 seconds, and like her hands are still gripping the railing, like staring into it. She sees through it. And then Adam's like, it's time to go. Like we gotta go in there.
You
And
gotta
then
go
that was
in
it.
there.
Yeah, I gotta get in there. And then Sadius harasses Adeline some more. But chapter 50, Uncut Gems. So will shapers are described as the most varied, inconsistent, and temperament, save for a general love adventure, novelty, or oddity. So I don't know if that's another order that they're name dropping here. But I decided to write that quote down, and then I wrote that for now, Dalinar is accepting the fact that he is probably the one behind writing these like glyph numbers that count down the days to something happening. Because again, the numbers appear, but it seems like it could only be Dalinar during his high storm fits. And then the last chapter, they name drop Kazila, who was executed by other Radiants because he was fraternizing with enemies, supposedly. Adeline convinced Dalinar to go to the Prashindi meeting in his place. So now Adeline is pretending to be Dalinar and is having the meeting with Ishonai, but Ishonai is still under the influence of Stormform. And she's like, you know what? Actually, you're gonna have to just kill us. And then meeting's over. So this was a good place to stop, but no hope of a peace treaty at this point because of Ishonai's influences. So I guess we'll see if all-out war happens or if one side gives out for whatever reason. All right, I had to sneeze, but then I didn't. So anything else we wanted to talk about for this section?
What do we think?
oh my God.
About the plot so far, about a
Yeah.
particular plot point? I think it's
Just the
interesting.
plot so
I
far.
don't know how this Voidbringer like listener stuff will start happening now, because like now obviously that the Alethkar and the listener is gonna have more clashes, I guess. But I don't know, like, if they're just gonna keep battling it to the death or what. And then Shalon's getting deeper into the ghost blood conspiracies, so that I'm actually more invested in that right now, I have to say.
I just feel like we're getting real close to whatever is coming. It's only like 32 days or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that's like got to be like in this book, right? Like that seems so soon. There's no way that we can like wrap all that up.
Unless it happens on the last chapter and Brad was like, see you next time in
Yeah,
On
Oathbringer.
the next
that's
episode,
what I'm thinking.
Dragon
Like
Ball
that's
Z.
the cliffhanger. Yeah,
It could be, honestly, because we're already what, like a little bit over halfway of the book, so
Mm-hmm.
it could end on that basically.
I think it
Which,
might end on that.
in my head, if I was reading this book release to book release, I'd be so pissed off if
Mm-hmm.
that's what happens.
yeah. You have to wait like 5 years.
Rip. But it's good. I'm liking the character interactions, because now that all of the main
Mm.
MCs are like meeting and are like together in the same spot,
Mhm.
um, I think them playing off of each other is good. Like the interpersonal
Mm.
connections between all the characters now is like getting more fleshed out, because we got Shalon and Adeline's like, I guess not really betrothal, but they're like courting, I guess,
Contract.
What is
and
it called?
then
They had a word for it.
Causal.
Causal,
causal,
yes.
yeah. Navani is kind of avoiding Shalon still though, because
Understandably, because it's
yeah,
like a
Yeah.
physical reminder
It,
that her daughter is dead. Although I
yeah.
still think Jasna's
Yeah.
alive.
I
I
also
As
still
don't.
think
I don't know
Jasna's
what.
if
alive.
a body is not found, they are alive. That is
Yes.
100%
Yeah.
always the case.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that if it turns out that's not the case, I won't be too upset, but I'm still holding out hope
Or
though, at the
or
least.
if she's not alive, she's like technically she's alive in some other way. It's one of
That's
the
what
Yeah.
I
two.
think too.
Or
I
like
think
her
she
soul still
transported.
exists.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Like she like a Stormlight ghost or something. She like a Force ghost or
Yeah, Force
something.
Ghost.
Yeah.
Somehow she returned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or she's like living in what's that?
Shadesmar.
Yeah, Shadesmar.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I'm thinking.
Because
That
I was thinking
she
she somehow got
transported
into
her physical
Shadesmar and
body.
that's where she is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm assuming because it's the only way her body would have like disappeared, I think. Or wait,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
She
think
soul cast herself into ocean
Into
water.
Shadesmar.
into water.
But I guess if that were the case, maybe is Jasna can't interact with the world even while she is on Shadesmar? I don't know.
We'll find out.
We'll find out. Maybe.
Hopefully. And actually, I trust. I trust. We just might not find out this book.
Yeah. But all right, let's leave it here. I guess off stream we'll talk about the next date and the chapter sections. I think we'll go another 25% of the book, I'm assuming. So yeah.
Yeah.
All right. It's getting interesting.
Mhm. I like that everyone's all together. It's fun. And
Yeah,
I
it's
want
like
It's
like
giving like Game of
I
Thrones. Well, actually, it did not give Game of Thrones because Game of
Yeah,
Thrones they all
don't
met
say
up.
that. Don't say that. I
No,
don't want it to give
no,
Game of Thrones. Give me the
no.
opposite of whatever that was.
what
But you know
happened
how
there
like
though?
when they met each other, it was like hype.
Yeah. It was just the
Yeah,
payoff was not very good.
the payoff was not very good. Exactly.
Was that towards the end though that all the characters in that book met?
Yeah, it was like it would be till like the last season. Jon Snow met up with Daenerys,
Mm-hmm.
or Sansa met up with uh yeah, I'm drawing blanks, but basically like they were all meeting each other, and you have been fantasizing like how would these characters like react to each other for like years,
Mm-hmm.
and then the ending happens. It's like who
Oh,
cares?
rip. Yeah. Sorry for all you Game of Thrones fans out there. I'm sure you're feeling pain.
And we deserve it. We're not good people.
Yeah, I never got into it.
never watched it.
Yeah. It didn't seem like a fantasy series. I like more like whimsical shit. I think Game of Thrones is a little too like gritty for me and like too
Too
political.
much sex and too much
Yeah.
incest.
Yeah, that's my new like
I
now
just
that
don't
it's
need
been
it.
years. That's my new like too much of the shock value just for like the shock value.
Mm-hmm.
Not much
Hmm.
of the I mean
Substance.
there at one point it was really there was really good storytelling, don't get me wrong. But eventually like there were some scenes that I'm just like you guys are just doing this because it's shocking, not because it's good storytelling. So
Did it follow the
that's
books though?
it followed the book until the book because like he's never gonna finish it. That's the
I know.
thing.
That's the joke.
So after a while, it was just they had to start making up the story, but they got offered like a deal with Disney to do Star Wars, so they just kind of like finished it up real quick and then just dipped
Dang.
and left us with this mess.
But now are they ruining Star Wars or is it like okay on the Star Wars end?
Oh no, they did. They got their deal canceled because it was so
Oh,
the end of the was so bad that Disney canceled their deal.
that sucks.
Yeah, it sucks because none of us got what we really wanted. Like they ruined a perfectly good series, and then that was
And
it.
then the reason why they did it half-assed didn't even pan out. So
Exactly. So it's
that
like
sucks.
it really sucked. But anyway, that's
But you know what? We got Brando Sando's words here, and sometimes that's all we need.
I would say like his dialogue. Sometimes I'm just like, bro, what?
Brando
But
Sando's.
yeah, um,
I think he doesn't
I
have
hope
too much dialogue, but his wordplay with Shallan is pretty interesting though. Like he can definitely write funny and varied characters, but it's okay, the dialogue. There's not a
that would
lot
be
of
my
it though.
yeah, that would be my one complaint. Like he definitely likes his world more than he likes his characters.
He likes his rock plants.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Constantly mentioning the rock bud plants. I'm like, all right, I understand. These exist. But all right, I guess what other plants are we gonna be introduced to next time? And also, yeah, I guess we can't show it, but Shallan sketches are shown every so often, which does help, I believe. I like those.
Very helpful.
Hmm.
No, I think like I think you guys will really enjoy the twist. Um
Ooh,
There's a twist.
there's a
oh,
twist.
come on guys. This is
There's
Brando
always a twist.
Sando. Like this is I think you guys will really enjoy the twist. It will feel very satisfying.
Is it in this book or
Uh
the next book though?
What is this twist?
um
Renarin
Is
is
or
odium.
stop.
do do not
He
look
like
up
hulks out all of a sudden.
anything.
just throwing the weird, the wildest theories
The
out.
seizures were keeping his rage at bay.
Yeah.
Yeah. When his epilepsy is cured, he becomes a villain.
And I think like we'll have a lot of discussion like based around the twist because it definitely gives the book a different perspective that
Oh.
Mm,
um even I now like rereading it I'm like ooh it's not a good look.
mm. You said not a good
Ooh.
luck. What did you say?
Yeah, not a good look.
Oh, I don't want to know what that means because I don't really know.
I got some thoughts, but we'll keep it hush hush till we get there, I guess. Don't want a
Yeah,
repeat of Mistborn.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
we're getting there guys.
yeah, I don't want to have to Google something and then find out someone's god again.
No,
Well, is the twist
there's
in this book, or is it like more? Is it still inklings of the twist in this book, and then it's kind of more revealed in the next book?
all I know is it's either this book or the next book that there's the twist. And I
Oh,
already have like a bunch of like discussion topics based around that
Oh,
twist
okay. Yeah,
that
we're gonna have to
Ooh.
dive deeper then once we get
I
to there,
can't
and
wait for
then
us to discuss because
yeah, we'll do more of a discussion than a summary.
okay.
Because then we'll just like drop the bomb in the book club and be like, "What do we think, fellas?"
Mhm.
But yeah,
It is actually gay to read books.
Ah, fuck.
twist.
Crazy
Oh
ass
man.
twist.
All right. Now I'm gonna be thinking about that for a while. until I get more hints of something else is up here.
It's like what can I say?
Oh
There's no way you
God.
can spoil
Uh,
yourself on this
uh,
one though.
unless
You
I
Unless
Google,
sure?
unless I Google shit by accident
Well,
again.
I'm not googling anything, but I mean,
Don't
because
yeah.
threaten me
there's
with a good time.
it's not a no, I'm not gonna say anything more. All I
Yeah, yeah.
know
Okay.
is
Yeah, yeah.
Let's leave it
basically
there before I am tempted to Google something.
it's just a nice twist that I thought was extremely cool and it really cemented uh
Yeah.
even if I make fun
uh,
of his sometimes his writing,
mm.
it really cemented his storytelling or like
I do.
his
Ooh.
huh?
I have thoughts now. My
Okay.
brain is like running,
Stop.
trying to think of
Don't
anything that
Google
could be a
it. Don't
twist.
Google it.
No, I'm not gonna Google it. I'm not stupid. I've learned my
What's
lesson.
the twist?
What's
What
the
is the
twist in
twist
Words
in
of
Words of
Radiance by
Radiance?
Brandon Sanderson? Don't Google that. Don't Google that. All right.
ChatGPT. What is the twist?
We don't condone Chat GPT here.
Using AI for evil.
All right, let's end the stream. We'll talk about dates and chapters, and then yeah, then we'll meet next time. And
Hey
yeah,
y'all.
see y'all for Expedition 33 tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.